So, insofar as travel, you've been to India many times.
Twice.
Twice. Is there any other places that you would go to that you feel will help you to grow or develop in your life that you have a desire to go see?
I'll never know how much something will help or grow my life until I do it, first of all. But no, I'd like to see, everything. I mean, all the safe parts of the world at least, or even the unsafe ones. Apparently some of the countries that people are normally scared of going to aren't as necessarily dangerous as they may seem, right? That, of course, maybe they're more unstable and there's more crime and stuff, but a lot of times people go to places and they come out okay. But nonetheless, I want to go to China. I like to go to Africa. I've never been to Europe besides stopping in Germany for a couple hours to fly to India, Australia. I want to see it all.
Now, your last trip to India, what was the most impactful experience that you had while you were there?
I went to a place called the Sun Temple, which is maybe, 50 or 100 kilometers northwest of Ahmedabad, which is the main city that I was in, which is where my family is from. And this Sun Temple is this gigantic stone temple built literally 1,000 years ago. And they're carvings. So in Indian architecture in the old days, you'd have big structures made out of stone or marble or like some hard material like that, and there to be carvings of Indian deities, of elephants, of people that line the complete perimeter of the structure. Just seeing, perceiving, and observing that, I've seen Indian temples since I was a kid. I've seen in America, and there's this type of architecture is everywhere in India. Seeing this thing being 26 years old, seeing it be 1,000 years old, and having it last. I mean, some of the elephants that were carved, their tusks broke off, their trunks broke off, some of their faces were obscured. You could still tell it was an elephant though. And I can't imagine how much focus on detail, how much heat they must have endured to make it, how physically, or actually more than physical, how intelligent the engineering needed to be in order to construct such a thing to begin with. And the fact that it was, I don't know the cultural significance of it. I don't know what the Sun Temple is really supposed to be worshipping, but the fact that they put that much effort into a piece of architecture that is maybe a religious thing, I think that's really spectacular. And so that's all intellectual, right? Being there, I got sick earlier in the day with my stomach from something I ate, so I was actually pretty miserable when I was there. My family was taking photos, I was just sulking. And in the family photos I'm in, I couldn't even smile properly without still looking like I was sulking. But still, the impact of being there later, it just took me back in a way. Like, I think about my ancestry, I think about the long line of Indians who came before me, who then physically formulated into me in 1992. Strange stuff happens. Strange stuff happens that you wouldn't expect when you go to India.
I would imagine that it increases your appreciation for the life that you have now, for just the simple and basic things in life. And one of the things that you mentioned earlier about the Argentinian couple was their focus on relationships. And sometimes when we're on the go doing things in this country, we tend to forget those aspects. What importance do you think relationships play in our lives for ourselves and just for our community?
Well, essentially everything is relationship, right? I mean, even from a money-making mindset, it's still based on relationship. You do something that is done for somebody and they pay you. That's the most basic way to look at it. The way it works today, given how sophisticated our technology is and instruments are and how well the system of money has worked, is that we do stuff and we are divorced from the direct impact that it has. Like, say you work at a bank and you're writing a spreadsheet, right? You don't necessarily know, you're not directly necessarily going to give that to the client. You don't see what you're doing. You're creating something and then emailing it to someone and you get money from it, right? But if you go back a few hundred years, you're selling something to someone. That's a relationship, right? So everything actually is relationship. What matters is how closely in tune we are with the relationship. So there was a doctor that came on my show a couple of times, and he talked about how when he's giving a diagnosis for somebody who's not necessarily going to make it, if they have cancer, they have this tumor that's going to kill them, or, you know, he says they don't actually care as much about what his diagnosis is, as much as the fact that he's going to be there for them. That they know he will do his very best to operate on the tumor or the problem, get rid of it, do the very best to heal them, regardless of what the result is. That's relationship. So when people are aware of the relationship they have with the people that they're serving, because every transaction is an act of service, right? When Federer, the tennis player, goes and plays a tennis match at Wimbledon and he wins, he's playing on one level for himself. On the other level, there's thousands of fans watching, many of whom want him to win. There's millions of people around the world watching. It's a service for me. I love watching him. I want to see him win. And when he waves to the crowd, when he cries after winning or after losing, people see something in him. They see some beauty in him that they resonate with. That's the service he provides. And one of the reasons he's so popular, besides how beautiful his game is who people can see he is as a human. He respects the relationship with the fans. And as a result, he also makes more money than any of his counterparts. And also, I mean, it's also because he's, he wins more. But relationship matters very fundamentally at the basis of everything that we do.